We have release fear, okay? There may be some things you want to do in order to better your life, and there are things that are going to better your life in the long run, so you may not receive immediate gratification or immediate positive changes from doing it. It may be time consuming, like going back to school or something, but you may have a fear, I don't want to do that because I need to be stable, and this could be something that could be a threat to your stability possibly. So they're saying release fear. If there's something you've been feeling like you have to do in order to better yourself and your children's lives in the long run, release fear and do it, and you're going to be supported. It's going to be miraculous. You don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. We have minimized guilt, okay? What do we say? Mommy guilt. But y'all can have daddy guilt too, because more and more fathers are getting custody of their children. But release guilt, minimize guilt, okay? A lot of the times, just the act of going to work when you're a single parent is something you feel guilty for because your kid might be sick, or you might have to leave your child with somebody else and somebody else watching them while you're working all the time. So you're feeling like I'm not being a good parent, or I have to choose between work and my kid. I got to tell my job I can't come to work today because my kid is sick. Well, they might try to fire me. So I feel guilty for not being a good employee, but then I feel guilty for not being a good parent by leaving my child too. So minimize guilt, okay? There's no handbook on being a parent, especially a single parent. It's tough, okay? It's okay if you don't do everything perfect. It's okay if you slip and fall sometimes. As long as you're not being abusive or neglectful to your children, you're not going to be perfect, and no parent is perfect. Also, society has for some reason flip things around and try to make it to where the parent that stayed feels guilty for, or the responsibility somehow for the other parent deciding to leave and deciding to be a deadbeat parent and deciding to not help. Why is a parent that stayed being made to feel guilty? Don't let society do that to you. Don't let society make you feel bad because you're a single parent and talking about you should have chose better. Who do you think? There's some people that could have chose better. I ain't gonna lie. There's some people that it was like in red flashing lights. Don't have a kid with this person. They're a bad person. In most cases, that's not what happened. A lot of the times, you don't know how a person is going to be as a parent until you have a kid with them. Period. And then another layer is added onto that if you're in a relationship with that person and y'all have a kid, but then you decide you don't want to be with them anymore. They may have been an excellent parent while y'all were together. And then when you decide you don't want to be with them anymore, all of a sudden, they don't want to be a good parent anymore because they want to hurt you. People underestimate how somebody will use your kids to hurt you, and the other parent may choose to not be in their kid's life just because they know it hurts you and they don't want to do anything to help you. They feel like helping their kids is helping you. Stop letting people make you feel guilty because the other grown person decided they don't want to be a parent to their kids. That's not your fault. Most of y'all. Because I do know some people that had kids with people that clearly were not good parents. They had kids already that they weren't taking care of. And so that's dumb. I'm sorry. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? So for y'all, I'm sorry, I ain't talking to y'all, but I'm talking to, the majority of people where you really have no idea how somebody's going to be as a parent. And they may have had children that they were taking care of. But for whatever reason, when y'all had a kid, they just, I don't know, something about you. They want to make your life a living hell, which means they're going to not help you with the kid. Okay? We also have ask for help for others. Like I said, you all are being placed in a position to have to put that pride down and not only be open to receive help when people offer it to you, but also having to ask, can you help me? I need help. Like, it's one thing for people to come volunteer, but it's another thing for you to have to ask other people for help. And you don't want to have to ask other people to do anything for you, but you're being put in a position where when it comes to your kids, you got to put that pride down. If you need help with food or shelter or transportation, and there's somebody in your space or your circle that can do that for you, and that's willing to do it for you, you have to put your guard down and ask them for help. And sometimes they might not help you, but you still have to ask. You still have to exhaust all of your possibilities. We got no. Like I said, sometimes they might not be able to help you, or they may say no. Maybe you're being placed in a position right now where people who normally who would have the resources to help you, they don't have those resources to help you anymore right now. So you're like, what is going on? It feels like all of your resources, for some of y'all, it feels like all of your resources are being taken away. You did finally put your guard down and ask for help, and this person wasn't able to do it. Another thing is with this assistance, this government assistance stuff. If you in the middle class, you can forget about it. Like, I don't understand why the middle class has the least amount of resources. If you have a hard month, but you make over a certain amount of money, then, which means you're paying taxes, okay? That means you're paying taxes. And the money that you're paying out of taxes is going to all these programs. But yet, you don't have access to it when you need it. You can't just go get food stamps. I'm having a hard time. Can I get some food stamps this month? Can I get some assistance with my rent this month? You can't do that. You gotta be dang near homeless, okay? If you are dang near homeless or rich, you're doing better a lot of times in life than the middle class. The people that are in the middle class who are one emergency away of losing it all. One paycheck away from losing it all. I told y'all I was pretty much making 6 figures, and it still was hard for me. Just having to pay everything myself. School lunch. School clothes. Food. Shelter. You can't have no 1 bedroom when you got kids after a certain age. Shelter. It costs more to have kids live with you. Stuff for school cost. Haircuts cost. Toiletries cost. If you a girl, if you have girls, you have even more toiletries that you have to buy. You have to have stuff to just live. Rent alone is taking a lot of people out. I don't know what they're trying to do with these prices for rent. And I don't know what's going on. Are y'all trying to bankrupt the whole country? Like, what's going on? But you feel like maybe I don't even want to ask for help because who's around that can help me? Either you feel like the people around you don't have the resources, or you don't have access to the resources. We have not the right time. You may feel like it's not the right time to ask people for help. Everybody's going through things right now. So, you know, how could you put a burden on somebody else? We have communicate clearly. You may not be making it clear to people when you ask for help just how bad things are. So they're not fully grasping how bad your situation is. You may feel like I don't even want to explain my situation. But you may have to really let people know what's going on in order for them to be able to help you, just because they may need to know how serious the situation is. We have compromise. You don't want to ask for help, but you're going to have to. We have ask your angels. Not only are you going to have to ask people physically on the physical realm to help you, and it doesn't have to just be with money. It could be with resources. It could be with knowledge. It could be how to do a certain process or get through a certain process. It doesn't have to just be money. But you're going to have to go to your spirit team as well. That's why I said earlier, they're not necessarily revealing. They don't ask my neighbor, come to me. That's what your spirit guides are saying. We have listen to your intuition. If you're being intuitively led to do something, do it. Even though it may seem like you are following your intuition off a cliff. You're not. There's going to be a safety net down there, okay?